Yo, what's going on, y'all? Got a video here today speaking on Nikola Tesla, explaining why he chose not to have no physical relationships. It's a very interesting video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's check it out.
I don't believe that an inventor should marry, because he is so intense in nature and so much of it in wild, passionate qualities that in giving himself to a woman he might love, he would give everything, and so take everything from his chosen field. I don't think you can name many great inventions that have been made by married men. For an artist, yes. For a musician, yes. For a writer, yes. But for an inventor, no. The first three must gain inspiration from a woman's influence and be led by their love to find her achievement. But an inventor has so intense a nature with so much of it in wild, passionate quality that in giving himself to a woman he might love, he would give everything, and so take everything from his chosen field. It's a pity, too, for sometimes we feel so lonely.
Nikola Tesla's choice to remain celibate is a mysterious subject. Contrary to mainstream understanding, Tesla's celibacy wasn't just a weird habit, but a planned decision, often
Sound like the man was on his purpose, driven.
tied to esoteric traditions that equate sexual abstinence with heightened intellectual and psychic powers. Tesla himself was deeply influenced by the ancient Eastern philosophy of Brahmacharya, which was introduced to him by Swami Vivekananda. This practice promises a life of extended focus, intellectual clarity, and sharpened memory. While we marvel at Tesla's inventions, what's less spoken about is the energy reservoir he accessed to fuel these creations. Traditional mystics would identify this as the manipulation of the life force energy, or kundalini, which, when mastered, grants the practitioner almost superhuman capacities. In Tesla's unpublished writings, he often referred to tapping into cosmic forces, a saying that reminds us of old-time chemists who aimed to turn simple materials into gold. Tesla's celibacy was not just sexual abstinence, but an alchemical process of transmuting sexual energy into creative power. Though such ideas are often dismissed by mainstream science, they find recurrent mentions in Hermetic and Rosicrucian circles. Tesla's case
Well, if it's dismissed by mainstream science, then a lot of the times it's going to mean that that's the truth, because the mainstream science is mainly trying to keep you dumb and lie to you. So you always go the opposite way of what everybody else is doing or what the mainstream is trying to tell you.
invites us to reconsider what we think we know, compelling us to look beyond the visible spectrum of his genius. Freemasonry and certain secret societies have traditions that delve into esoteric and occult knowledge. Among these arcane teachings, some claim, is the practice of semenretention, often viewed as a way to conserve life force energy. In various mystical traditions, this energy is said to contribute to heightened intellectual and spiritual capacities. The concept aligns well with the Masonic and esoteric goal of self-improvement and
But a lot of the times, Freemasonry and all those other occult people that they talk about, 9 times out of 10, everybody equates them as like bad or satanic or doing evil or whatnot. And it's showing here that they're just using that same knowledge. And once you tap into the knowledge, it's up to you if you want to use it for bad or good. From my understanding, that's what it would be. But seeing that the occult people are using the same knowledge that Nikola Tesla was using to better themselves, and who's to say what the reasons to using it for? But it seems like a bad intentions. But at the end of the day, the goal of it is to attain a certain level and then choose to use it what you want to use it for. But let's keep going.
enlightenment. Some people think Freemasonry is just old guys hanging out. This is wrong. It's true that some groups have forgotten their old wise ways and are now just for socializing, but some groups still know a lot of deep stuff. For example, in one group called Societas Rosicruciana in Anglia, there were really smart doctors and scientists. They wrote books that tell you to read about many different things, from how living things work to hidden sciences like astrology. They also talk about mind science and what to eat. These people were not silly or crazy. They were very smart and knew more than most people. You don't have to join these groups to learn. Most of what you want to know can be found in books they have already published. Some might ask, why is semen retention so important? Both physical and hidden effects of this action are discussed in different old books about hidden knowledge. First, one can find explanations in the books of an old English Rosicrucian group. These
then that could explain why the ritual, when these occult people do their rituals, it's always seemed like they're pulled away from everybody and everything and doing whatever ritual it is. And who's to say if the ritual that these occult people, going with Freemason in this case, is doing it as far as a semen retention thing, but just looking at it and adding it all up, whenever you do the research and see the movies and read books and things like that on it, they always get pulled away from everybody, keep things that are a secret, and a lot of the times you don't really see a lot of women around them. You really don't. But let's continue.
books are available online. Second, writings by Max Heindel, who started a Rosicrucian group in America, offer more insight. Samael Aoun Weor, who was once a student of Rosicrucianism and later started his own belief system, strongly advises against masturbation. He is the third source. A fourth source is Mantak Chia, a master from the East who wrote a book about using sexual energy wisely. There are more tips in the works of people like Rudolf Steiner, Franz Baden, and Gurdjieff. All these men wrote about how the mind works, how to avoid bad habits, and how to grow spiritually. The aim is for everyone, whether part of a hidden group or not, to know themselves better and to use their special skills to help others. The goal is to get closer to what you might call God and speed up your own personal growth. But not everyone is good. Some people and groups with bad intentions have joined these groups and made them do bad things.
See, there it is right there. And even the journey of this journey is to get closer to God, or like he said, so-called God. And if I don't know, you could use that in the context of like, if you were to say like the devil had this information and would want to use it to get closer to God or be like God, then turn around and use it for a bad reason. I mean, of course, why wouldn't he? Or anybody else with that same mind frame. But in general, it seems like at the end of the day, semen retention, because they named off a bunch of people so far. It's not just Nikola Tesla, but people who used it to better themselves and give them a higher teaching, a higher understanding. And like in my previous videos, where one guy even said that the future of nations are for those who are chaste, which right then and there pinpoints to this same understanding. But let's keep going.
There are forces out there that want people to be lazy, scared, and not in control of themselves. The point is, you actually have the power to make yourself better, but they don't want you to know that. Now, about the less known side of self-stimulation. When a person is close to climax, their body takes a lot of good stuff like proteins and minerals from their body, including their brain. All of this goes into the semen, meant for creating new life. If a person does this too often, they drain these good things from their own bodies. This can make their mind less sharp and their body weaker over time. It can even lead to health issues, bad eyesight, and make them easily upset. In hidden teachings, it's believed that semen is not just full of nutrients, but also holds what's called creative life force. This force gives people energy, focus, and vitality. When saved and not wasted, this energy can help people reach their goals and dreams. It acts like a fuel for willpower, making someone more driven and creative. This energy sits at the base of the spine and can move upwards, giving a person a sense of enlightenment. It has the potential to make a person healthier, mentally and physically. If someone frequently releases this energy through masturbation, they might feel a temporary sense of relaxation, but it's followed by feelings of irritability, instability, and laziness. Over time, this could lead to health problems. This energy can be seen as moving either upwards or downwards. The more it rises, the closer a person gets to their best self and even to a higher spiritual state. Additionally, in these teachings, it's said that everyone has a desire body, an invisible cloud of energy formed by their desires and emotions. When this life force is low, it attracts negative energies that can have a harmful influence. The idea is to use this creative life force wisely so as to live better, healthier.
So if your semen retention is low, you vibrate low, and you attract a lot of negativity. But then you raise it, have a heightened sense of things, and live in a more positive realm. Which right now makes sense because the world we live in is very hedonistic, highly sexualized, which then keeps you at the lower state. I mean, it all perfectly makes sense, to be quite honest with you, because they said they don't want people to know about it. They don't want you to keep people lazy and fearful. So everything, like, yeah, this perfectly ties in with what's going on now, and a very, very good understanding as to rise above everything that's going on as opposed to being a victim of it. But let's keep going.
Lives. Leonardo da Vinci, the polymath who gave the world masterpieces like the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, also led an abstinent life. Speculations suggest that he used this redirection of sexual energy to fuel his boundless creativity. Like Tesla, Da Vinci was also a prolific inventor whose journals are filled with sketches of flying machines, submarines, and other incredible devices centuries before they became a reality. Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher, praised the virtues of controlling sexual desires in his dialogues. While not explicitly talking about semen retention, Plato did argue for mastering and redirecting one's energies towards intellectual and spiritual pursuits. Given the significance he placed on the higher forms of love and intellect, it's not a far leap to think he would approve of such practices. Sir Isaac Newton, the groundbreaking scientist responsible for the laws of motion and gravitation, was reportedly celibate throughout his life. Newton was so consumed by his scientific and alchemical work that he purportedly had little time or inclination for sexual relationships. Many speculate that his celibacy was closely related to his enormous output and intellectual insights. Muhammad Ali, the legendary boxer, was known for abstaining from sex before important fights. He believed that retaining his semen would make him stronger and more focused in the ring. Though not a lifetime practitioner, his temporary periods of retention were strategic, suggesting that he understood the power of his practice to enhance physical and mental performance.
Hit us with an ad. But that actually makes perfect sense, though, because you have a bunch of, they're going through and talking about a bunch of geniuses who, in return, use the same practice to benefit themselves or to reach a higher level, not to just benefit themselves, but to reach to a higher level, a higher plane, a higher level of understanding. And then he even came all the way down to Muhammad Ali, who I've even heard him say this before personally. And so I've heard him say where he stays away from partying, drinking, and abstaining from women and everything. And even Mike Tyson even talked about one of the fights he lost, what he was doing the day before. He was out there, having sex and doing all sorts of stuff. And then the next day he had to fight and he lost. So, all of this ties in and it's crazy, but it makes sense because how many people can say they practice this and not just the semen retention aspect of it, but I'm pretty sure that there's a plethora of things that go together with it, like your diet, your exercise, your prayer and meditation. All these things come together and form it as one, and then channel on, focus on a plan and drive all the way and see how far it takes you and see it to the end, see it through. But let's continue.
Confucianism, however, delves into the deeper metaphysical aspects of semen retention. Rooted in a blend of mystical Christian and Hermetic traditions, Rosicrucians view the practice as more than just a way to channel physical energy. For them, It's a form of spiritual alchemy. According to Rosicrucian teachings, semen isn't just a bodily fluid, it's a special kind of energy. They call it the elixir of life and say it's a mix of our body and something more, like a spirit or life force. Now, let's talk about something they call the Philosopher's Stone. It's a magic stone in old stories that turns cheap metals into gold. The Rosicrucians say semen is a lot like this stone. It's not just part of your body, but also holds your spiritual power. By holding it in, you're doing a sort of body magic to make your spirit stronger. This is like an Eastern idea called Kundalini, where energy rises from the bottom of your spine to make you feel aware in a new way. When awakened, this energy rises up the spine, going through energy centers called chakras. As it moves, you may feel more awake and aware in ways you haven't before. People who experience this say they feel clearer, more connected, and more creative. It's like lifting a fog from your mind, helping you see and feel things in a whole new way. Science already tells us semen has stuff like zinc and amino acids, but this group goes further. They say it has also something they called astral imprints.
So a lot of the times whenever you speak about chakras, people usually have a negative connotation on it. And me, I'm not a firm believer in anything being negative or bad, because it's the person who chooses to use it for whatever they want to choose it for. You know, kind of like a knife. A knife can be used to kill somebody with, or it can be used to, like cut a steak and feed someone. So a lot of the times the implication of chakras will always leave you on, or always has this the way it's always looked at is like something negative, something evil, something bad. But looking at it from this perspective and hearing it from this point of view, it's an extremely powerful thing if you're doing it for, a particular reason to restrain yourself and develop inner strength. Well, let's keep going.
Which is like an energy fingerprint. Losing this energy is bad for both your body and spirit. The Rosicrucians often talk about a sacred river when discussing this topic. Imagine a hidden stream under the ground. This stream can either water plants and make them grow, or get lost and do nothing. Semen is like this stream. You can use it to make your life better or waste it. They also talk about something interesting called the moon cycle. They say a man is strongest when the moon is full. So if you keep your semen during this time, your spirit gets even more powerful. The moon cycle is a concept that Rosicrucians believe holds a deeper significance when it comes to semen retention. According to them, the moon's phases are not just celestial events, but a powerful influence on human energy and spirit. They describe the moon as the silent witness of the earth, a guardian that has an unseen but strongly felt impact on our lives. In this cycle, the moon goes through various phases: new moon, first quarter, full moon, and last quarter. Each phase has its unique energy, they say, but it's the full moon that really stands out. Rosicrucians argue that during a full moon, men have an enhanced magnetic pull. This isn't just a random phrase. They mean it literally.
Oh, so actually having an understanding of how the moon and the cycle of the moon works, and actually knowing that, because once you know something, kind of gives you the power of knowing and understanding that, hey, this is actually a practice that works. This is actually something that's happening. You're aware of it. In other words, a lot of times we're not aware of this. We're not schooled on this stuff. But now, if you can sit down and look at it, put it into practice, and retain or restrain yourself, and then look at the moon phases and see if it actually works, or if you actually feel the strength coming from within. And of course, people are very instant gratification. So first month, they're probably like, nah, it's not working. But I mean, give it like 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then actually see for yourself, because nobody's going to come out here and tell you that it works. You have to do it for yourself. But I think this is very powerful understanding. But let's keep going, because we're almost done. We're almost to the end. So let's keep it going. Uh-oh. What'd I do? Here we go.
Of life becomes more attuned to the energies of the universe during a full moon. Now, Why is this important? They believe that during a full moon, retaining your semen amplifies its potency. It's like capturing lightning in a bottle. Your elixir of life is supercharged, filling you not only with physical vitality but also spiritual clarity. You become, as they say, a lunar conduit, a channel through which cosmic energies flow more freely. Your intuition may get sharper, your emotions more balanced, and your spirit lifted. They even go as far to say that during a full moon, you can practice specific meditations or rituals to make the most of this cosmic window. The moonlight, they claim, is a form of purer energy that imbues the earth. By aligning your own retained life force with this lunar energy, you can achieve a higher state of consciousness. You're not just storing energy, you're aligning it with celestial bodies. They often liken this to an ancient form of alchemy. In the past, alchemists tried to change ordinary metals into gold, but in this practice, you're converting raw biological force into spiritual gold. You're turning something ordinary into something extraordinary, and the full moon is your alchemical furnace. Rosicrucianism and astrology share a deep symbiotic relationship that goes beyond what many might consider mere fortune telling. For the Rosicrucians, astrology isn't about predicting the future. It's a sophisticated language of symbols that help to unlock hidden dimensions of the self, the cosmos. The idea is that human beings and celestial bodies are interconnected, and understanding one can illuminate the other. In Rosicrucian thought, astrology is considered a form of celestial physics. Each planet, star, and astrological sign corresponds to specific archetypal energies. For example, Mars is associated with willpower and aggression, while Venus is linked to love and harmony. The positions of these planets at your birth, represented in your natal chart, can indicate your innate tendencies and challenges. If you want to find out more about yourself, please check out the description below for a free astrology reading. Unlike fatalist.
Okay. You kind of missed me with that part right there. However, that doesn't mean that you can downplay what he's saying, because I would say see for yourself, because of course mainstream media has us looking at sex every single day, 24/7, 365. There's no way you can escape it. However, you can use the algorithm to your advantage and change what you look at and change what you see. However, they still will put it in your face one way or another, whether it's on YouTube or whatever social media platform that you have, or you go out in public. And this is just how the world is gearing towards. But if you can actually sit down and put this into practice and raise your vibration, raise your frequency, and actually go on this journey, and the only understanding is to see for yourself. The more you know, and then put into practice, and then you'll find out. And then you'll be able to reach others, and not just reach them, but show them. That's the more important thing. One thing to show somebody the information, but it's another thing to be the information, become the information, and then try to teach them. And then once you try to teach them, it's up to them if they believe you or not. But that's all I have for today for this show. Thank you for tuning in, for watching. And if you can, hit the like button on the way out the door. I am out of here. So thank you. And next time I hope to see you again. Take care. Peace.